interview, base your responses on what your interpersonal skill is or style is, right? And what I mean by that is, if you're an introvert, just because you're an introvert doesn't mean that you're going to have a shitty interview automatically.
Right.
In fact, I like introverts. We've got we've had the past 2 great hires. 3 have been introverts.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
They interviewed. Okay.
Yep.
None of them interviewed horribly on a good note, right? They weren't, extravagant. They weren't flamboyant or anything like that. It wasn't like a big jokes from beginning to end.
Yeah.
But, there's so many qualities that introverts bring to this kind of environment. True. And don't sell your fucking self short.
Yeah.
And even in an interview process, turn that introvert into an asset. Being introverted, right? Like introverts tend to possess qualities like they're, totally essential to design, right? Like they're, detail oriented. Okay. They're great listeners. And that's what design is all about. Really listening to the problems, right? Exactly. They process information differently than extroverts do, which is, again, not saying it's better or worse, but it's just differently, which is an asset.
Right.
Okay. They're creative, they're thoughtful, and they can work both great independently and collaboratively. So there's so much awesomeness to an introvert that I find that a lot of introverts just kind of give up before they even start.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah, this is true. Yeah.
And honestly, it's like a superpower that they're not jumping on. They're just because they're too busy expecting the big flamboyant jazz handsy type personalities to do.
Or they're expecting that people are expecting that.
Or they want that.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, that's what the interviewer wants.
Can you imagine if everybody who worked here was like me? Dude, I couldn't work here. I hate me. I couldn't work with me.
It would be pretty awesome. It would be crazy, man. But it would be like a circus.
Shit, right? We can only have a handful of me's and that's it, right? I think that's it.
1 or 2. I think we're good. Yeah.
So if you're an introvert, play into those. Be prepared for small talk. Right? Like seriously, understand that there is gonna be small talk.
It will happen.
It will happen. So you have to, step up to the plate for that, right? Yeah. But again, try to own it, right? And then flip it around on them. Ask them engaging questions and make them talk.
People love when you ask them questions.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's a great way to flip it.
You don't want to talk? Fine. Then put it in their hand.
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly.
What are you looking for? Tell me about your business. Like, put it back, and then they'll be like, wow, this person's engaged.
Yes. Yes.
So again, it works. Okay. If you're an extrovert, unfortunately, don't assume that right off the bat you can talk everybody's ears off and they're gonna laugh at every one of your fucking jokes and this and that.
So wonderful.
Because honestly, extroverts can sometimes come across as overly arrogant or cocky, fucking annoying to me. Again, if I had to interview me, I wouldn't like that. I'm not going to lie. I wouldn't like that. Channel that into passion for the space.
Yes.
Okay. So don't go on about yourself, but go on about how much you love the design space, how much you love the design industry, how it's helped, you along in your journey. Right. And you keep yourself fucking calm, right? Keep the laughs down, keep the, the jokes up. Cause some people, extroverts, they tend to, in general, laugh it off.
Yes, exactly.
And carry, people don't necessarily like that. Right.
Yeah.
Don't babble if you're an extrovert, right? Don't babble. Make sure you answer the question, right? And make sure it's not a nervous babble.
Yeah.
Okay, so answer those questions. Don't be like, 5 minutes later, you don't even answer the question. And everybody's like, God, I can't wait to get that guy out.
Yeah, you're just completely bamboozled. This is just
absolutely,
like an assault.
Absolutely. Yeah. So I think if you're going to be an extrovert, if you are an extrovert, be friendly.
Yeah.
Just not overbearing.
Just remember to kind of rein it in a little bit. Yeah.
Absolutely.
And introverts bring it up a little bit, right?
Absolutely.
It's like a happy medium in there that everybody needs to meet.
I totally agree with that one. So I think that covers everything that I can think of during the interview.
Right.
Okay. So we've got before the interview.
Yep.
We've got during the interview. Here is some key things that people think that after the interview's done, you're done.
Yep.
Big mistake.
Ooh.
Huge fucking mistake. Okay. So after the interview, okay? And this goes job interview or even customer pitch first time, okay?
Right.
Always follow up with a thank you email.
Follow up.
Fuck, nobody does that.
Yes.
The ones that do, you remember whether or not, you agreed or this or that, like you have to do that.
Yes.
Right? And I'm shocked how many people don't do that, and make sure you're humble and gracious about it. Be complimentary about what you found out in that interview, because it shows you paid attention. It shows that you were engaged in that, right? Yeah. Talk about the environment, the people. You can see why they enjoyed the place, right? Anything. If there's something that you've learned in that interview, just quickly mention it. Quickly mention it, right? I'm shocked to find out this sounds amazing, right? There's a format. If in 2 sentences you can reiterate, okay, why you think you're a good, why you think that you're a good candidate, and reference something that you during the interview that kind of showed that, in our interview, I learned that, you guys are fast paced and this and that. I get jazzed up. With that kind of, energy and pace. And so I think, I'd be a perfect fit for your team. Because again, you're not just saying, I think I'd be a good person for your team because of this and this and this and this. Exactly. That's not what we're saying. What we're saying is, tie it to something directly related in that interview to just remind them, I am perfect because I was paying attention. And this is what I
learned this. This is
huge.
Remember when we talked about this?
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, right? Yeah. Remember that time? That's why I'm good for that. Do that if you can, and leave it off on a high note. Leave that email off, that thank you on a really high note, so that afterwards they're like, wow, that was an awesome person, right?
Yeah.
And as a last thing, add those people to your LinkedIn.
Oh.
You reach out to them. Again, whether it's a prospect or whether it's a job interview, the people who interviewed, reach out. Because here's the thing. Even if you didn't make that interview, let's say hypothetically you didn't get hired, right? Sometimes the decision is out of the person's hand who hired you. Maybe it's a group of people, this, that. But if that person then genuinely did like you and you made an impression on them, right? And they allowed you, they accepted your invitation on LinkedIn. This is your opportunity to continually market to them as you go through your journey.
Right.
LinkedIn is huge for this, right? That's what LinkedIn is for. You comment on things, you comment on posts, you post this, you post that, and they will follow you and they will see. And you know what? There's a good chance that person isn't going to be at that job forever.
Exactly.
They're going to jump somewhere else.
That's right.
You congratulate them.
Right.
If it's a similar role, throw that out there. If there's ever an opportunity, I would love to interview there, right? This is all networking.
And it's what it is.
And the networking happens after the interview.
Yes.
So make sure you do that. Follow that. It might make the difference of them being like, oh shit, there's 3 people. I don't know which one to choose from. All of a sudden it's like, oh shit, look, Sean just added me to his LinkedIn. You know what? I did like that guy.
That good.
Fine, let's just do it with him, right? Because often that's what it is.
Exactly.
In the end, it's a whim.
Yeah. Or you got 3 solid candidates who pokes their head up above the rest of them, right?
Absolutely.
The guy who reaches out to you in LinkedIn and says to you the follow-up email, remember when we talked about this, and this is how it went down? Thanks a lot for the interview. Looking forward to hearing from you. You know what I mean? Like that's the kind of stuff that the little after touches that are going to make put you in the
totally makes a difference, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. Anyway, I think before, during, and after the interview, you follow these steps. You're going to amp up your job interview skills, but you're also going to amp up, your presentation skills, your, client pitch, you're meeting your clients. You have to sell yourself to a client, just like you got to sell yourself to a potential employer.
Yeah. This is all the exact same stuff.
It's the exact same shit, right?
Exactly. Like really good. And this has been an eye-opening.
We really need to couch this. We should have mentioned this right from the start. Damn it.
I suppose. It's a great learning experience.
It is a great learning experience, right?
Love it.
So, so I thought it'd be fun if I actually kind of go through the zfactor interview questions. Right? So we have a kind of a funky process here. Right? We have, it's nicely designed. Everybody can see this. Look at that beautiful thing, right? And it's multiple pages to make people nervous, of course. But I mean, again, we take our interviewees on a total journey from start to finish, right? Like we literally, we start off with obviously the structured shit. Okay. And we put at the top what the criteria is that we're measuring on, right? And we have some of the standard questions. Okay. We have the questions talk about your past employment and what accomplishments and contributor. This is the fixed part, right? So these are what I would consider the job related questions. So this is the meat and potatoes that you're basically going to hold them up, their skills against everybody else. Okay. So these are kind of the questions that we always start off with. Then we go into what is actually hard skills and soft skills. Okay. These 2 parts actually it starts with soft skills and then goes with hard. We ask them to rate themselves. Okay. Rate themselves from 1 to 10, 1 being like, no, I suck at this, to number 10, I fucking rock at this. Right. And I mean, depending on the job, of course, It's, like questions based on, their speed, their copywriting ability, right? Their organization, their tech savviness, right? And we're trying to get them to see, we're trying to gauge at how confident they are in these, self-aware is more so what this is about, right? So that's what we always go through. And I mean, coincidentally enough, we question number 8 and question number 9 are almost like a fucking trick question to see who we can get. Because number 8 is confidence. Tell me your confidence, right? And I appreciate if somebody's at a 7, 8, 9, even 10. Good, whatever, right? But the next question is now rate your humility. And it's amazing how many people this flies over their head. They're like, I got a confidence of about 9, right? It's like, okay, what about humility? Oh, 10. Definitely a 10.
10,
definitely. 10, humble, aren't you? Like so many times. But the ones who catch that and they're like, wow, I'm kind of damned either way here with this one, aren't I? It's a total, but it's amazing, right? How many times? So those are the soft skills. Then we go exact same 1 to 10. 1 I suck, 10 I rock, right? We go to hard skills, right? Creative Suite, WordPress knowledge, Google Analytics, Instagram, LinkedIn experience, Clubhouse, Photoshop. This is when we even talk about like Photoshop or SEO, SEM, based on the position, right? This is where it's like we actually ask people to rank themselves here too. So we're ranking their soft skills. Then we're kind of ranking their hard skills, even though, one could argue that social media experience may not necessarily be a hard skill or not. Kind of, right?
Yeah, in this day and age.
But then again, do you know anything about branding, design, blah, 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 right? And then here are those open-ended questions, right? Like, have you done anything to improve your knowledge of design lately, right? Since college, have you done anything to improve it? So the ones that are like, I'm consistently updating my skills and learning this and following that, are the ones that are like, oh yeah, I got a job. It doesn't really qualify, because what we're looking for are things outside of the norm that actually show you have drive and passion for this, right? But then the big question, the last 3 big questions actually that we have here. Number 1, to the best of your knowledge, what do you know about zfactor and what we do? Key. This is like one of those, like you got certain questions rated,
and it's buried in the back.
They have to answer that. If they're like, well, it looks like you work with small customers and big customers. Dude, it drives me nuts. So again, we have to, again, they need to answer that. And if they blow that, they're like, not even going. Dude,
it doesn't matter what your soft or hard skills are like.
Dude, it's pretty shitty, because that just shows they're arrogant and they care about themselves. Where it's like, really, you know what? It's like, I'm here for an interview to help another company. I need to learn about that other company. It's like and it's a test. Over the past 20 years, that has proven so true that the people who are in it for themselves don't research us. Right? The ones that, are want to here to grow and that they do research us. Which is kind of crazy. What additional skills do you possess that would be of value to us outside of the position? So this is where we ask, what else you got? What are the bag of tricks? And, I don't even care if they're like, you know what? Like, we had somebody's like, I'm a really good baker and I could bake food every Friday and bring it in. I'm like, that's a fucking great idea, because that would be great for the morale. As ridiculous as or not it is, we ask this and we take it really seriously, right?
Interesting.
And then, of course, we always ask them, what questions do you have for us? But that's not what we have here.
No.
We have on our nice little docket here, what questions did they ask? So this way, I don't care. I could really care less if they're asking questions. That's the important thing. But if they're like, what salary is it? How much vacation time do I have? Then what time do you guys usually clock out at? Dude, these are the questions they ask. Red flags. But if they're like, tell me about the space, tell me about your typical day here. Those are the like superstar questions asked, right? So we have this, okay? We talk about this, and then we have the best part of our interview, okay? And this is the crazy part of our interview. This is what makes us different. We then tell them, we're going to start a clock. 2 minutes. Countdown. 2-minute countdown, right? You didn't have to do this. You're lucky. So I don't even know what you would have been like.
I don't know whether I would have been able to do this.
Maybe a little bit of nepotism when you joined this party, but Sean did start as a freelancer, just so you guys know.
That's
we
right.
freelanced him, and then we hired him on for 1 contract, 2 contracts, 3 contracts. And then he left.
Yeah, I did.
To go work at Sobeys. No, I'm kidding.
Ouch.
Ouch. Needless to say, he came back. I brought him back. No, he didn't come back. I brought him back.
Yes, that's right. That's right. And that was your thing too. I remember you saying that. It's like I don't normally bring people back.
Never brought back a single employee. I didn't. They left, and you left for a different reason. You left because you were on a contract. They were offering you full time.
It was full time, yeah. It was a management position.
Management, right?
Oh, yeah. And I thought I could take my see how that would go, and I failed miserably, which is how I ended up at Sobeys.
To us, though. That's why when I found out, I was like, hell no, he's not working there. He's coming back here. He's going to fucking be part of our team.
Yes.
You were missed in that short time.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome.
So, okay, back to the crazy part. So this is the quick fire round.
Yeah.
Bum, bum, bum.
2 minutes on the clock.
Quick fire. 2 minutes on the clock. Okay. And we rank the questions, 1 to 3 if they're good or not, right?
Yeah.
And again, we ask them the most ridiculous fucking questions. Okay, it's a list, and it's like 2 minutes. Ask them, go, and it's like what is Minecraft? Ninjas or pirates? Puppies or kittens? Sushi or poutine? Right, dude? Like literally, book. But then some of them are actually industry related, but without them knowing it. Right? Is news true or false? Newsprint is dead.
Oh.
Right, and it's like interesting what the responses are like, right? Yeah. Or like handwritten notes or digital notes, right? Kind of spins back to what their personality is, right? And it's literally we always finish with the last two, which is would you dance the Macarena right now? Which almost everybody has, but the ones who haven't never got a second interview. And the last question was always, how many ping pong balls can you fit in a rocket ship? Because that actually tells us their ambition. If they're like, fuck, man, a million. Good. But you have some that are like, I don't know, like 200. Dude, you're shooting way too low.
Or if you start going, well, how big is the rocket? Like, I need to know the diameter of the...
These are meant to be fun. They break barriers. Afterwards, everybody leaves on a good note. But I mean, again, there is some method to our madness here, right? Yeah. But it is, how do they act under pressure? Yeah. Do they ramble? Some of them do. They never got hired. Yeah. The ones that could answer and have a good laugh with it and dance the Macarena and dude, those ones actually make it through the whole process. But like again, we bring this down. It's a really weird thing, but it's worked for us, and we've done this, for like 15 years now.
And everybody's done the Macarena. Most of the people have done that.
No, well, I think most have done it.
Wow,
most have done it.
That's awesome.
Or at least we're willing to do it, right? They'd be like, this.
Yeah,
right, you got it. Next. So this is ours, but again, although it's all fun and games, it is to actually poke and prod and try to get that personality out of that person, right? So there is a reason, right?
Yeah. And that would be a great, memorable kind of experience for...
I think so,
because I think for the most part, like in my kind of what I've experienced through the years, they all blend together. Right?
They absolutely
do. So something like
yep.
this would really stand out, and it's not only just for fun, like you're doing this just to get people to dance, to mess with people. You're getting information from them, like you're finding out their critical thinking, like puppies or kittens.
Exactly,
like,
dude.
This is
exactly, 100%.
This is a nice little fun way to do this sort of thing. Right?
Absolutely, and that's exactly it. Critical thinking, personality, right? Yeah. Sometimes, unfortunately, it takes this to get their personality out.
Exactly.
But again, we do have a nerd culture here. And so if people can't answer some questions, whether they're Star Wars related or video game related or cartoon related, because we ask them, what's their favorite cartoon, right? We're just like, dude, I don't know if this is the environment for you, right? Just because you may not be happy, because a lot of the people here love pop culture. They're all kind of, like they're up with, current pop culture trends or whatever, love anime, this, that. It works. And if this is not their space, they would be better off at a different agency. And that's true.
Yeah.
I couldn't imagine being back there with you guys if I wasn't into this shit.
This is true.
I think it would be awkward,
with all the
right?
other people.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like it's good.
Absolutely.
It's good that we have all these commonalities.
I think so.
And I think that's part of who we are as designers, right? Because we're kind of in tune with this, this cultural, all this new stuff. But it's there's an age difference in our shop, and we still have,
there is actually
we still have the same commonalities.
Exactly. That's
really
the
awesome,
bond, right?
Yeah,
and that's what works in this place,
which is great.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. So what do you want? Do you want to talk about some of these interviewees that we recommend people don't be?
The people that the train wrecks that you
train wrecks
before?
We have witnessed everything over the past 20 years. And so what we've done is we have combined, just some grouped fun categories of who these people are and what to stay away from. So if you can actually recognize you are one of these people,
yes,
right? Maybe you might want to make some changes into your skill, right? This isn't a mock. This isn't bad. This is the kind of people that we've interviewed. And so we're putting it back to you. Don't be these interviews. All right.
No, you're not. We know you guys aren't. But this is kind of what we talked about before. There are some people that were like this.
Yeah.
You know, like the very first one that we have here is the one woman that you interviewed that was giggling and super
the whole time.
She was the nervous Nelly.
The nervous Nelly.
Right?
Lovable.
Yeah, you love her.
Friendly.
She knew her shit.
Yep,
she knew what she was doing, but she was just this ball of
nerves. She knew that her skill wasn't, she overthought the interview.
Yes.
She overthought the experience, the human connection, and it almost killed her, right?
Yeah,
it was so hard for the poor girl. And I mean, it ended up being part of her personality, and it was charming, but damn, dude,
I know.
This is that one person where it's just like, and she could have benefited from this, taking deep breaths before answering questions, thinking about what she had to say. Doesn't mean she has to be who she's not.
Yes.
But at least it gave her an opportunity to think about what she was. And when we were joking with her and we broke down those barriers, and I literally was teasing her about being like the most craziest interview I've ever done, but let's keep going. Right? Then we just had a joke about it, and you saw what her real personality was.
And then like. You open that up for her.
Exactly. So don't be the nervous Nelly.
Don't be a nervous Nelly. It's,
hey, coincidentally enough, I had an employee once who was a nervous Nelly to a prospect. He got a fucking opportunity. So I hired a sales guy, and I mean, he was an awesome dude. I love that dude, right? And you'd think he was a great salesperson, but he really sucked. But he got this opportunity to hit it. And this is before we were focused on tech. And he went to a casino. Dude, casinos are money. All they did is print this, do posters. It would have been like a gold mine.
Yes.
And he was so nervous in this meeting. He said his voice was shaking. He was sweating. He was shaking when he was handing her. Dude, he was such a train wreck that he said that she felt so bad for him. She offered to give him some flyer work so he didn't feel like he was. And it was just like, dude, no, sorry, we can't do that. I'm sorry. It was such a huge opportunity. And I was like, that was the one opportunity. I was like, no, you got to do this on your own, dude, because you can't keep going with me on these sales calls.
Yes.
Yes. So he was the nervous Nelly.
Oh my God.
Kind of ruined that opportunity.
That's horrible. Like such a, and he's a sales rep. That's
yeah.
part of your job.
Well, he wasn't much after that. He wasn't. It was just like, wow, dude. After shadowing for 6 months, it's not going to work. Too bad.
This was just a shadow thing.
Well, he worked here, and he for 6 months he came to every job interview or every job pitch I went to. So he was like my wingman.
Yeah.
So there was no opportunity. It's not like there wasn't experiences for him to. And it's like, okay, dude, now let's do this on your own. Do this on your own.
Yeah.
Needless to say, he almost kind of goes into this second one.
Well, and this second one is really is kind of the worst, and it sounds exactly like that.
This guy.
It's the clusterfuck.
The clusterfuck.
This is all the same hallmarks of the nervous Nelly.
Yes.
But just disastrous.
Disastrous.
Not that adorable kind of that cutesy.
He was a mess.
Yeah.
Sweaty and shaky, and it's just like, just like leave.
Yeah. And they're nervous,
They're opening up their bag. Everything falls out.
Spills out all over the place, talking over top of people, you know what I mean? And it's just like, just bad. Like
it was.
And I think I've been.
If this potentially, is like you think that this might be you, you need to change your strategy.
Yeah, that's exactly.
Maybe actually try for an online strategy. Yes. Try to get hired, in different ways. It goes back to the same thing, though. Like, if you are constantly so nervous that it's hard for you to function in interviews, take a breath, take on a more introverted approach.
Right.
Even if you're not an introvert, right? But, choose your words wisely.
Yes.
Speak slowly, right?
Slowly,
Think about everything that you say in these situations, right? And be prepared.
Yes.
That's honestly the clusterfuck is because 90% of the time, they're not prepared.
Exactly.
Ill-prepared.
Exactly.
That's something. Okay, cool.
You certainly have to, like the guy going into the casino. I mean,
absolutely.
He shadowed you for 6 months. He should know.
He should know
exactly how this is done, and this is your job, and you should be able to do this kind of thing. Like you got to take deep breaths.
I know, deep breaths. It's okay to take those breaths.
Exactly. So this is another good one.
Yep.
The confidence man / confidence woman.
Ooh, this is the person
with self-confidence.
Look at me.
can do this job in my sleep.
My best quality is that I'm handsome.
I'm handsome.
Handsome. Like, dude, honestly, that was this guy.
Yeah.
That was him, 100%.
Yes.
Right? If you are too confident in yourself, dude, you know what? It's just such a turnoff because people aren't. I mean, there's a fine line.
Yeah.
You want confidence. You
do.
don't want
You need
arrogance.
Yeah. Arrogance and confidence. People mix that up sometimes.
But if you are too confident in telling people how they should be doing their job, and you brag about your, whatever processes you've put in place, and the rewards and the wins and this and that, it's just like, well, dude, why are you here looking for a job? Then?
What are you looking for a job?
Like,
exactly.
fucking superstar. Go be a superstar somewhere else.
Exactly.
Like, honestly, those people, they rub everybody the wrong way.
Yeah, totally. But they think that you should hire them.
Absolutely.
Because of that. It's like,
Absolutely.
I'm really good, so I'm doing you this favor by.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, and this is we've experienced this
Absolutely,
with the really great interview.
Yeah.
But then the person gets here and it's just like, whoa.
Wah, wah, wah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I worked for 16 hours. I was the star of the place that I used to
In
work.
the end, it was like,
And then it was just like, what the hell? Where? Wow. And you feel kind of guilty because you got kind of swindled by
totally.
by these kind of things. But this is what the confidence person does, right?
You know what? That's funny. That's even the next one.
Oh,
the shark.
shark. Oh,
This we had recently.
recently.
I think she was a shark.
Oh, really?
Because honestly, she came in. She was the best interview we've ever had.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
she wasn't the confidence.
She wasn't the
No,
confidence.
he was the confidence. That dude was
the handsome
over
man.
handsome, Mr. Handsome. No,
Oh, I didn't
the
think-
shark. No, you know why? Because she tailored her interview to the business, right? She even went as far as choosing the color red for the interview for her resume, but then she made the mistake of telling somebody here she hated the color red, and it was just like, holy shit! Did you just fake it?
Wow.
Right? She was a great talker.
Yeah.
Talked up her skills, but when she started working here, she was a train wreck. Her skills were subpar at best. She was a shark, dude. She said the
Really?
right things. She smiled. She was charming. She answered the questions all perfectly. She was, one of the best interviews I've ever had.
Yeah.
And same with, Catherine
Yeah.
said the same thing.
Yeah.
Best interview she's ever had.
Yeah.
And it was within 2-3 weeks. It was just like, holy shit, did we get swindled?
Yeah.
Totally.
And she left for another job.
She left for another job, which was good because at the same
This is
time
great.
she
It
was
was like,
she was on her way out anyway.
Yeah.
But to top it off, she didn't even give us any notice. She was like,
Yes.
"Oh,
Just
I was just like, holy shit, you don't even want to give us like another week or two notice because we're in the middle." No, I told them. She's like, "You are just the scum of the earth."
Yeah, that's pretty shitty.
Like,
and
her
that's
design skills sucked, but
Yeah.
she said they were great.
Yeah.
She talked up their job, but now her other job replaced her with foreign part-time employees that don't even speak English. And I
Yes.
don't mean this in a bad way,
Yeah, no,
but they outsourced her job
Yes.
for a fraction, which meant she fucking did nothing there. Like, it was horrible.
Yeah.
And she thought so highly of herself that she answered the questions. She played it out right. She was a shark.
Yes.
100%
Wow.
a shark.
I completely missed that.
Nope,
I would have thought she was a confidence.
No. Confidence is one thing. She was a shark.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Or the next one is
How about
the
this
second
one? Yeah, the blame gamer.
Nothing is their fault. Everything. No. And this goes
yes.
back to you can't badmouth anybody from your past. You can't.
This is exactly it.
Yeah,
well, the reason I was let go was my boss was a complete dick.
Yeah,
It's
right.
like,
We didn't see eye to eye because I rocked and he didn't. It's just
Yeah.
like, dude, sometimes they're. I've seen this on Reddit too. I remember, like everybody would, like, this one girl went in there saying how her boss didn't see eye to eye. She had all these progressive thoughts.
Yeah.
He didn't, and she would never let her go to the client directly and this and that. Well, in the end, it was like everybody with experience was like, dude, you need to relax. Your boss knows shit about that client that you obviously don't. He's
Yes.
protecting the company
Yes.
and everything else. You're just some little, newbie who's like going on about
Yes.
you deserve the opportunity. Fuck, shut up. Oh, I can't handle these kind of people. Do not blame everybody else for
Yes.
your misfortunes,
Yeah,
right?
no, that-
It sucks. The work world sometimes can suck because
Yep.
there's a hierarchy. Sometimes you have bosses that suck.
Yeah.
This is why I went into business for myself.
Yes.
I started out this way and I didn't like that world. And I was like, you know what?
Yeah.
I'm going to
I'm
do it
doing my
myself.
own thing.
And
Yeah.
it sucked
Yeah.
because I learned, I had to, instead of learning underneath shitty bosses for 5-10 years,
Right, yeah.
I learned under shitty clients for 5-10 years. So I was like the school of hard knocks, more or
Yes,
less. But
totally.
the reality is, that blame game thing. Nobody just wants it. Nobody cares.
And everybody sees through that kind of stuff, right?
Do.
Like if the media, if like I fucked something up and I blame somebody else, you're gonna be like, but you did this.
Do you know? I actually interviewed somebody. Who, she was there, she was blaming, and she was like, I think my boss wasn't giving me the opportunity because, I'm a woman and this and that. And I was like, oh, that sucks. I was like, but this happens in the tech space, whatever.
It's very boy.
But her boss was a woman. I was just like, wait a minute. Your boss is a woman? Yeah, but I don't think she was giving me the opportunity because I was a girl. And I was just like, wait. But your boss is a woman. Yes. And she had these struggles. Yes. And she's VP of that company now. Yes.
Well,
I just like, I didn't know what to say. I was stumped. I have honestly had almost every type of person through this place.
My God, girl.
I couldn't believe that one.
Look inward, girl. Like, Jesus Christ, it's probably you.
I mean, I know that some of that shit goes. I know there's mansplaining. I know that in the tech space it's pretty bad. But her boss was a woman.
That doesn't hold any water.
Right? So all of a sudden, it was just like, I think you're the one who was the problem, girl. Oof. All right.
Yeah, so there's other types too.
Absolutely,
this
there
one
are.
I like. I'm sure you've ran into this. The money man.
Cha-ching.
Yeah. How much am I get?
How much am I going to get?
Paid.
What am I doing? Leave.
Get out of here. Yeah, it's not. If you're just in it for the money, then
this might not be the space. Early on. Yeah.
The script reader, the person who goes over the interview like they're reading it out of. They've practiced it so like many times. Yeah, they're just doing it like a robot, which is terrible because, which says you've done your homework.
Yes.
But your delivery is so
horrible, so cold, so
cold and so like you're not even. That's worse.
This is a human space.
I know.
I know.
You have to learn to you do your research and you have to make it sound like it's a comfortable conversation.
Right.
And literally, we're just having a conversation.
Exactly, right? Relax on this one.
Yes, exactly. It's not that bad.
This one I had, I just need a jobber.
Yeah, I just need a
jobber. Well, I know that your job asks for a senior graphic designer, but I've got Microsoft Paint. I was really creative in high school, and I think I can do your job.
Yeah.
I think I can.
I'm moving to Zimbabwe in 3 weeks, so I just need a job right now.
I just need something for now, right? Literally, these are the people that can they feel that they can they're so ambitious or they're so high, they feel so good about themselves that they can just put themselves in any job role.
Yes, exactly.
Good for you. All right, good job.
Yeah, and then when I'm bored with this in 6 months, I'm going to move on to something else.
Sure, why not? You can do it.
Yeah,
you're special.
So, and then here, this might tie in with the shark.
Yep.
What we talked about, the Harvey Dent.
The Harvey Dent?
The Two-Face, right? The one person says one thing, I'm the greatest thing in the world, and they're terrible.
And they play up and they just fooled you from the start.
Exactly.
And I have honestly had a good handful of these people. It's kind of sad, right? You feel really dirty when this happens. Oh, dude.
But, these are the things like, this is unfortunate that these people exist, or this type of interview exists, right? It really shouldn't. It's like we said, it's just talking. It's you're having a conversation with somebody.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Really, how hard is that?
Yeah, a lot of this just comes down to being prepared. Yeah. And I think that people, they can forget these fake personas that they're trying to build out and stuff, and just be prepared. Like,
be prepared.
I think that people don't understand the kind of questions maybe on a lot of the, the interviews come. So I think that's why, we want to kind of finish this off, or at least this second half of the interview off or of our process or of our episode with questions. So, what? A lot of this just really comes down to the preparedness. And we talked about this in the last podcast about being prepared for the kind of questions that you might get asked.
Yes.
And on our blog, right, which is on our website, surprise, surprise, we have a post there, of course, that lists, like 30, 40 of the most commonly asked design questions. Right. But I think we're just going to touch on some of these today, right? Yes. That these are questions that you might get asked, right?
In all likelihood, this will, you'll some form of another, right? Or another, you'll get this.
Or
question.
even you ask them in some ways, because these are all things that honestly you need to brush up on. Like we talked about, obviously, brush up on your terminology, brush up on your industry terms. Like what is design? What is graphic design to you? What is branding to you? This is shit that you need to brush up and be able to answer like that.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
These are more interview related questions
with
kind of responses that we're kind of thinking that what they're looking for. So be prepared to answer this kind of stuff.
Yes.
I think this is kind of where we want to end up this one, right?
Yeah.
So here we're going to just touch 15 of these.
Yes.
Right?
Just for now.
Yeah. But again, go to the blog. We've got a whole list there with that follows up even deeper than these ones too.
Yes, exactly.
Cool. Yeah. So obviously one of the more popular ones that, we ask all the time, is what made you decide to be a designer?
Mm-hmm.
How hard is that to answer? But I mean, it is if you're not answering truthfully. If you're if you're not passionate. If you're somebody who's just like, well, I needed to choose a career and I kind of liked art, and so I thought I'd try graphic design. It seemed easy.
Yeah, seems like an easy thing to do.
We're all looking for passion.
Yes.
Right? And we're looking, are you enthusiastic about the career?
Yeah.
This is a journey.
Mm-hmm.
Being a designer takes years. Sure, it might be easy to get into, especially nowadays with some of the shit that's out there.
Yeah.
But I mean, this is a long journey.
Yes.
You need to be able to answer this, right? Tell your origin
story.
Tell the origin story that you came from. Discuss what it was about design that first got you interested in this. Right?
Yes.
Like people just nobody has a good story about this.
I know.
If you have to, make the fucking thing up.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we've talked about this before with our favorite artists series, right? These are all
absolutely.
These were things that were formative for us when we were young coming up.
Yeah. You know how I got into this industry?
No.
How I decided I wanted to? Young little Italian Massimo used to watch Who's the Boss with Tony Danza, right? Tony Danza, good old Italian guy. And his boss was Angela Bauer, who was an exec, ad exec, creative director. She would go up there, she would create designs, pitch them. And I remember looking at that thinking, I want to do that because I could. That was my origin. So that was at and I was in grade 7 or 8 when this happened, right?
Wow.
I know. That was Angela Bauer. Who's the boss? Tony Danza. Ayo.
Great show.
All right. Yes. So there's a good one.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes. Staring at album covers for me because I was a huge music
You said
fan.
that. That's
and
right.
I used to look at Dark Side of the Moon. I was just like,
awesome.
Shit, Hypnosis put that
Dude,
together.
Man, so many album cover
awesome
good
stuff.
There's
really
books just made of that.
Yes. Yeah. Exactly. But these are the things, and I must confess, I was an artist that I thought, what can I do to make money? Because I know art isn't.
That's not a bad thing, though, right? You came to that conclusion, and you took your art. Some artists stayed artists.
Yes.
And they also stayed broke.
Exactly.
Other artists stayed artists on the side, but then went down the graphic design profession.
And it turned out to be better because streamlining everything as a designer from an artist is more compact, and it's just a better focus.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Yes, but another good question that you'll probably encounter is, why do you want to work here?
Well, why do you want?
Yes.
How many people are like, well, the job was out there and I applied. That's what that girl just told us.
Yeah.
What made you apply to this job? You know what she said? What did she say? Well, my boyfriend and I moved back to Waterloo, and we wanted to look for work in Waterloo, and you're located in Waterloo. Just aren't we lucky?
Location. That's it. That's the reason.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Needless to say. Yeah. Honestly, like we talked about before, do the research on the company that you're interviewing. Give a real reason why.
Yeah. Are you into this? Are you into graphic design?
Right.
Was this woman even into this?
Dude, not at all.
Yeah, not even close.
Not at all. Not even close. Not even close.
Just wanted.
All right. Here's another one. Here's a big one, and we ask this often. what is or do you have a design process? And this isn't a hard one to answer because it's always the same thing.
Yes.
But put on the spot, you'll question, you'll fumble. Often we hear, well, I go onto Pinterest and Google Images, or I'll Google Images and I'll look at designs and I'll see what works. That's not a design process. That's kind of like inspiration for the creativity.
Exactly.
Right? Design process. There's a process, and we're big fans of process. I am anyway.
We are.
Always starts with research.
Yeah.
Right? And then from research, it goes to coming down, like coming up with the concepts after the research, and then present. Like there is a process, but it always starts with research.
That's right.
And as soon as people don't drop, as soon as they go straight to I Google images, and that's inspiration. That's not a design process.
That's exactly it. I looked at this website, and then I'm going to recreate it.
Right.
No.
Research.
No. Yeah, there's so much more involved in that.
Talk about the competition. Talk about how you followed them and what you felt and how you wanted to give them an edge. That's what you talk about.
Right.
Yes.
Yes.
Good. That's a good one.
Yes, that's great.
This one, number 4. How do you improve your design skills? This is on our Z-Factor one, right?
That's right.
Straight out. Whereas like, what have you done to improve your design skills? Yes. Be prepared to answer this. And you know what? This is so valuable that even if they don't ask you this question, you drop it in there.
Yes.
You're being like, I'm passionate about this, and I regularly upgrade my skills. I'm updating and finding new techniques on YouTube. I'm following the new design trends. I'm taking courses.
Yes.
Drop it in there. Right?
Yes.
Boom, it's gold.
Yep.
Huge.
How about this one?
Yeah.
What inspires you?
I love this one. Honestly, right?
Wow.
Like that one's huge. And again, if somebody was to ask, how would you answer that? Like, honestly, that's one that stumbles people, right?
Yeah.
Like, are you involved in the design community? Do you do things?
If you don't have any, if nobody inspires you, and you say, I just kind of get stuff from whatever, you're not involved in any of this kind of stuff. You're not doing research,
following trends.
Yes.
You're not. Yep.
Exactly.
Not at all, right?
Yes, which
like,
is really.
Just don't feed the whole. Well, I walk through the forest and I'm inspired. Dude, that's not graphic design. That's Mother Nature.
No, that is just.
Fucker. Okay. We've often asked people, how do you deal with creative blocks?
This is a good one, yes.
Because everybody wants to know. This burnout is so huge in our space.
It's huge, yes. Definitely, and I think we've talked about this in a previous podcast.
Yep.
There are obviously ways to get around that, but I think this is this is also, I think this is one of those mind questions, right? Like get into the, what do you call that?
Into their, I'm thinking more like self-awareness.
Oh, is it?
Well, because again, it's like, so they're aware of what they do to get around
when this happens.
Yes. Right. Like this is because I have asked creative blocks, right?
Yeah.
I think quite common. I think even recently we were talking about this, and it's just like, do people even realize when they're starting to get into a creative rut, right? Do they kind of get to there? It's like, I know where you're going about the mind part or whatever. Like it's us trying to read it. It absolutely, right?
It's a question on how you deal with some sort of obstacle that gets in your way, right?
Absolutely.
Because this will touch you at some point, during your career, and we've all experienced this.
Yep.
Not terribly debilitating for me personally.
Yep, agreed.
But bad.
Well, fair enough. If it has to be, absolutely, right?
So it's just one of those things where, So
make sure you have. The thought is make sure you have a way to get out of these. We all get creative blocks.
Yeah.
How do you get out of them?
Yeah.
Everybody gets them.
Yes.
Sometimes when you're lucky, when you've got like years experience like us, you can be like, you know what, creative blocks are part of the industry. It happens.
Yeah.
Luckily for you. I have a lot of fucking experience, so I just pull from my experience.
That's exactly
And if I'm in a rut,
Yes.
if I'm in a slump for a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, because I'm burnt out, I just like think back to another job and it's just like, oh, work for this, let's do it.
Exactly.
And how many times that saves our asses all the time,
Totally.
right?
Yeah.
Because again, it's just it's like we have too much experience in that case.
There's a lot of stuff floating around in the ether in the head that you've like, I remember I did this back in the day. I'll try that.
Right. And it
then
works.
that jogs you, and then all of a sudden,
and then you're inspired again.
Is back.
See?
Exactly.
And that's cool. So that's how we would deal with it when you have experience. And you're newer. I don't know what the newer person's experience is.
But this is exactly it.
Yep.
It's like if they say, I curl up in a ball in the fetal position, or literally, I need 2 weeks off to deal with this.
Yeah.
That's not something that's sustainable for you. Right?
No, as an employer, it isn't.
Yeah,
right?
You're hiring somebody.
Because right afterwards, they're asking, what is your vacation policy like?
Exactly. And that's the thing. I think you have to be aware of that. So if you are hitting that kind of spot, you need to say to your employer or your whatever that, okay, look, I'm going to need some time off or whatever. In before like a day or something like that kind of thing, right?
Absolutely.
This is when you hit that kind of thing. So I think you would say, look, I would want you to be proactive when it comes to avoiding this kind of thing rather than burning you out completely and having to let you go.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean? So I think that to me, I could see your side of the story where that's, you know, I'm thinking it's more of a psychological thing.
Totally. But, I get that.
Yeah, but still, I mean, it's definitely how you deal with this kind of thing.
Absolutely.
Is you know, what you really need to know.
This one's a telltale that you handle, and everybody wants to know this, especially if the person who's interviewing you is a creative director.
Yes.
But how do you handle negative feedback?
Yeah.
I poke and prod in
Yes.
interviews purposely,
Yes,
just to see if I can get a reaction out of that.
Right. Yes.
Right. And it's true. Like, you really need to be prepared.
Yeah.
You know, and again, whether or not you are gracious with feedback or you're a cry little baby about it, you better in the interview have a good response for this and be prepared.
Yes.
Right. Yeah.
See, it's funny because as I get older, the more I appreciate that. It's like if you come up to me and say, try this and do this, and I'm like, oh, I never thought of that. You know what I mean? Like, it's just kind of one of those. It's because of the way it's delivered.
Yep.
It's not, why didn't you do this?
Why?
You know what I mean? Yeah. It's so it's kind of a both way of doing it, but I always look at it as a positive.
Absolutely,
kind of
as we
thing.
should. You know why egos are gone. Now it's just like, dude, we've already done this for so many years. There's nothing left, right?
I know.
Like,
Yeah.
whatever.
But that's a good psychological kind of question too. I would think you would ask in an interview.
Absolutely,
because you want to find out how
you need to find out how they're going to handle this.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And good on you for actually poking the bear a little
kind
bit.
Of a dick, aren't I? But it's true. I poke to see.
Great way to, that is a great way to do.
Have to, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Again, you know what are the favorite kind of projects? To work. We always ask this. Like, a lot of these are just there's so much. It's just because it's true. It's just, during conversation. It's just like, oh, well, what are your favorite kind of projects? And if somebody comes back with a blanket, oh, I like all projects. Fuck off.
I'll do anything.
It's like, what kind of music do you like? I like all music. That's one of our rapid fire questions.
Is it really?
It is. What is your favorite kind of music? And it's like, well, I like all. I'm like, fuck you. You don't want to offend anybody. Get the hell out. No, it's true. What is your favorite kind of and you can say that, you know, you can be, if you want to be devious about it, fine. Look at the role, what they're looking for, and feed that back. But the reality is, you know, there's nothing wrong with saying, you know, I'm a designer. I like logo projects and word mark projects and branding projects. Yes. You know, there's nothing wrong with saying that. It doesn't mean that you suck everywhere else.
Exactly.
You know, Angus here said that he was passionate about, you know, typography projects.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean I didn't hire him. I was like, okay, when there is a typography project, sure, I'll give it to him because I know he's passionate about it.
He likes it, yeah, exactly.
But that might only be 10, 20% of the time. He still ended up being a very good hire.
Yeah, oh, totally.
Exactly.
If somebody asks you this question, don't just say like a fluffy kind of thing, right? Like, make it so that it was like a difficult, like, so you had hurdles to overcome. Like, it was a difficult project that you worked on.
Absolutely.
Not the easiest thing you've ever done in your life, because you don't want anybody to know that you're just skating through stuff, right?
Absolutely.
So make it look like, or give a project that you've done that was harder.
Absolutely.
Not necessarily the easiest thing. So another one that I think is very important that will come up in an interview is, can you work with very little client direction?
Well, that one's an important one because, and again, that one, the reason why people ask that is because they want to know if you have to be babysat.
Yes.
Every step of the way.
Yes.
This isn't, so, you know, it says with very little client direction. The reality here isn't client direction. It's creative director direction.
Yes.
It's like, do you have the capability to actually start something and take it from A to B?
Yeah.
Right? There's some people here that are stronger than others here to do that. It's like, you give an assignment, they'll take it here. They might get slapped if it's like, you know, if it's not really what I was thinking, but that's okay. Yes. Right? But some of the other ones, it's like, I just know that they can't do it. So I don't even give them those jobs, right? Yeah. So you need to show that that goes back to that competence.
Yes.
Right? So even though you're right, you know, they're saying with very little client direction, the reality is it's just direction in general.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a better way of putting it.
Yeah, and I was thinking more along the lines of our launch list, you know, where you'll get a job and it's just like very little information to go on. But
it is.
With your experience,
how far can you take that?
How far can you go with that? Exactly.
Absolutely. Yeah. And then I think last but not least, to wrap this one up, and I've seen this before, and surprisingly enough, it's also another one that we ask. You're given 3 projects, all with tight deadlines. What do you do?
Yes,
right?
That's huge.
And again, a spoiler alert, right? the last girl I interviewed, that was actually a really good interview, right? Yeah. I said 5. I said, you got 5 projects dropped on your desk. I was curious. And she was like, you know what? So obviously, I look at all the projects and I first see if there's anything that I can quickly get off my plate.
Yes.
If there's something that's too, and I was just like,
eat the frog first.
Great. Eat the fucking frog. We get it out of the way, done. She goes, then the rest, she goes, I prioritize based on how long it's going to take and the deadline that it's done.
Right.
And then she's like, and then she just works on it. But she had a process and she said it confidently.
Yeah.
Right.
Nice.
But the key was get the small shit right off your plate. So now your jobs go from 5 to 3.
Yeah, exactly.
Easier to handle 3 big projects than 5. 5 just seems like such a. So again, good on her.
Yeah. That's great. What pressure to put on her though? 5. Holy shit.
Dude, we do everything at the max here. It's true though. I think that the whole question is, can you handle pressure?
Yes.
Right? And this is the reality of our space, dude.
This is
right. Like this is all about getting shit done, getting high volume stuff done.
Yeah, that's definitely you're gonna hit that at some point in your career.
Absolutely. So this is 15 questions, but I think we've got like 30 plus on our pod, on the blog site. So by all means, go check those out and just use these as like a guide point, right?
Yeah.
Just to kind of like double check, how would I answer this? And all that's doing is just kind of like keeping you fresh.
Yes.
Keeping you thinking, on top of your game, right? When you're going over these interviews, whether it's for a new employer or whether the interview is for a new prospect, like a new job or a new client prospect. This is all the shit. This is all about being at your game, the top of your game. So you're not looking like you're fumbling. You're not looking like you're trying to grasp at straws when somebody asks you the questions that you're not prepared for.
Yeah, exactly.
You always want to look prepared.
You do.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah. And that's the problem with this space that we're in. Is there's no set interview process. Everybody's is different, right? So you're going to have to adapt to whatever, like on the fly. You're going to get questions of what's your favorite music.
Absolutely.
Kittens or puppies.
Kittens or puppies. Yeah.
No one would know to expect that.
And that's why we throw those at them. We're like, we really make sure we throw curveballs.
Yes, because that's a great test for somebody under pressure, right?
Absolutely.
But these kind of questions and the other questions that we'll put on the website are generally the
kind of things that you can expect to see,
yes,
right?
Exactly, in some form
or another.
Yeah.
Wow, dude!
Holy crap!
I didn't think that we could actually do a double episode, but we did, and we didn't, and we actually pulled it back. we have to calm the fuck down.
Yeah, we had to calm the fuck down.
Holy shit!
We put our research together today. It was just like,
and
holy shit!
And this was just literally pulling from experience. This one was the hardest. Wow.
Yeah. It was just kind of like, wow. This is
20 years of interviewing people, and honestly, this gives you some insight into what people are looking for. And the cool thing is, everything that we talked about is transferable from interviewing for a job or interviewing our first customer.
Yep. If you're a freelance guy.
Absolutely. Or small agency like us.
Yes, exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
These people are going to want the same kind of information from you as you are as an employer with a new employee.
Absolutely.
Thing, right? So, yeah.
Holy cow. Well, listen, I hope you guys were able to get something out of this. I really do. There is so much. I mean, everybody deserves the same chance, no matter if you're new, no matter if you're experienced. And I genuinely hope over these past 2 episodes that you've been able to pull something from this to kind of actually make it work for you, help you out with interviews, help you out with job prospects. There's a lot here to, divulge, but by all means, drop us a line, hit us up if you have any questions. And, we'll be straight up and tell you. I mean, we just gave you our whole damn interview process. So there's nothing's off the table. All right. Well, I think that's basically it.
Yeah,
I know this is hard for a lot of people.
It's tough. Interviewing is tough, but I think maybe with what we've done today is taken the stigma from it. You know what I mean? Like it's just 2 people talking together. Like,
absolutely.
But you've done your research. You're in the same space. You have a lot of commonalities
absolutely.
with these people.
Yep.
It really shouldn't be. We really shouldn't put it up on the pedestal.
We shouldn't put more stress on the process than this, because we're all trying to do the same thing.
Yeah, exactly.
When you're on one side of the table, you're trying to understand what the other person is all about.
That's right.
Right? And you're trying to make sure you give them the full story of who you are.
Yes,
if you are genuinely going in there trying to cloak yourself, pretend you're something you're not, you know what? Even if you get hired, it only takes 2-3 months, and you can't keep that act up forever.
This is true.
No matter how bad you want that job or that company, you
true.
can't. You are who you are. Yeah. Accept that. So it's better to be who you are in an interview.
That's right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right, buddy.
Nice.
All right, everybody. Well, by all means, don't forget about our contest. Please reach out, hit us up, leave us a review if you like this, share us with somebody. If you do leave us a review, hit us up on Instagram that you did, so then we can actually enter you into April's contest for winning a pair of AirPods.
Yes.
Again, it's good. The ratings are good. I mean, again, your chances of winning are 1 in 20.
Yeah.
So again, go for it. It's so easy to do this, right?
Man.
I know, right? Nobody has these kind of odds, right?
Exactly.
Again, it's not like 1 in 1,000. We're not that big of a podcast, but we're here for you guys by all means.
Yeah.
Yeah. Other than that, I think that's it. I think we're out, guys.
Yep.
Find us on Instagram. Please hit us up. We've got a great community there. Hit us up on Apple, on Spotify, on Google. Catch us out, and please share us with everybody.
Yeah.
Visit our website. Feel the love, share the love.
Oh, I like that.
I like that,
That's
right?
really
Feel the love,
good.
share the love.
Feel the love, share the love.
All right, everybody. My name is Massimo.
My name's Sean.
Stay creative.
And stay angry.
Peace.